Hello and welcome back to another episode of the ShanksCast. We missed last week because we have just been really busy, and somehow it's even still hard to find time to
sit down and talk
for 30 minutes. But yeah, hello, and we want you to know we've been very busy making some content for you guys. And we also, just random, but I did ask on Instagram, I quite often try and ask you guys recommendations, or not recommendations, but sort of Q&A type stuff. So if you guys ever have any topics that you think Victoria and I should talk about, feel free to let us know. We've got a lot of juicy things to discuss, but you know, there's never any amount of, I don't know if like there's ever any capacity at which we can just have too many ideas thrown our way. Also, the flies flying around, you may or may not be able to see them. It is that time of year in Texas, so
they're
as you see,
skeeter eaters.
They're skeeter eaters. I don't know what they're actually called, but they're basically massive looking mosquitoes. They're not mosquitoes, but they're all around my shop, and they fly around and hit the webs, and the spiders eat them. So I guess it makes my spiders happy. But they're going to distract me a few times, I'm sure. It's bad enough during the workday. I want to, what I was going to say is there's a couple of questions. I don't know if Instagram's been slow with notifications and stuff lately, but I've had a few questions on here. Yeah, like I'm not going to make a podcast about is a hot dog a sandwich. Like I restrict this dude from even answering questions anymore.
Well, is it a sandwich?
I mean, what would you call it?
I could see how it's a sandwich.
Have you never had this discussion with anybody before?
No, but is a hamburger a sandwich?
Yeah.
So I feel like a hot dog would be.
So is a sub a sandwich? Like a meatball sandwich?
Yeah. I mean,
So it's like a long meatball.
yeah. All right, sandwich. Done.
I
Next question.
still don't say it's a sandwich, but it fits in the category.
So I will say one of the most common questions we get on your main channel videos, everybody wants to know what is going on with your barn find EVO VIII. That
is the golden ticket question, isn't it?
Do you want to talk about that one?
You know, that's not a bad one to chat about. And again, I like to tell the whole truth, you know, at nobody's expense. So, you know, there's going to be some details that I'll probably spare you, but that has been an interesting car. I'm apologize. I'm fasting from caffeine at the moment. So, I didn't realize how much my life depended on caffeine. It's crazy.
And this is at the end of the day where normally we do it like noon.
Yeah, it also is late. So, but the girls are in bed, so we can party out here. It's going to get crazy. The Barn Find Evo has been interesting. What a car. Because that was the first car I bought after building this shop. Because that was like, okay, I can now
resources.
I can now take on serious projects like this.
Yeah.
Because I have the capacity for it. I have the lifts for it, you know, whatever. And so it's been a very odd, ongoing thing.
So I totally forgot that was the car that we got like initially after the shop was built. So that we've had it for like 3.5 years. When did we buy the car?
We bought it right after the shop. So the beams weren't even put up yet. That's when we bought the Evo.
Wow.
So, yeah, and then it's stayed out there under the tarp for a long time because I wanted to hype it up and everything.
Yeah.
That was the tarp car. And, like, it's crazy. I don't know. This is crazy. This is a wild ride because this car's been... It's kind of funny because I feel like is sentimentality a word?
Yeah.
The sentimentality of the car for you guys is a lot bigger than it is for me because, like, I just feel like I've had my head in so many places and spaces over the last 4 years, and so to me it's just, you know, it's another one of the cars that it's kind of out of the picture right now. It'll get finished eventually, but it is funny to me that like how many people are so there's no other car
in tune with that
no
car.
other car that people ask about.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I should at least definitely talk about it a little bit and talk about where it's currently at, and we actually do have some light at the end of the tunnel for it, and that's going to be a really cool, interesting story. Kind of going back in history a little bit.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I think it's going to be awesome. But So the barn find Evo was interesting. I bought it from my friend Dustin Monroe, who actually bought my caught on fire red IS300. So it kind of
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
kind of goes full circle there. So I sold that car to him. I bought the car from him. It was first thing I wanted to do was take the engine out. Because I was ambitious. I was like, you know what? Let's just check it out. Let's just see what we can do with it. Had all the built motor and everything, which is wild. But this was right at the same time where I was starting to build a relationship with MA Performance. And they had just offered me, like, straight up, they're just like, let us send you one of our, long blocks. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Like, I'll definitely do that. And so I did a bunch of research, and I'll condense this a bit. But, yeah, I bought the Zona Rotor 10569, which is like a $3,000 turbo.
Forgot about all of this.
$3,000 turbo. And I got it was the first car that I ever had my signature 3-piece wheels on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of like big things for this car, but the car was just so far gone. And it was beyond my mental capacity, I think. And I definitely bit off more than I could chew with it, but that's not to say that it can't ever get fixed, because nothing's too much for me at this point, I don't think. But I feel like it's a lot to talk about, because like it was always kind of in the background. I think a lot of it paused when I realized how much still needed to happen.
Yeah.
After we got the motor. And honestly, the whole Drew situation was weird, because he was supposed to build the exhaust manifold and finish all the fab.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like gave up on it halfway through.
Yeah.
Because it was like he didn't like the metal. Like, I ordered, $700, $800 worth of the freaking super nice whatever. But and I tried to, use all my resources and try and get him all the tools he needed and this and that, but he just like kind of just like brushed it off. And this is nothing against him, but this is just how it was. And so as soon as I figured out how much that car needed, I was like, let's focus on some other cars, and we'll figure it out eventually. And but he was, when Drew was working for us, he was constantly working on the giveaway cars.
Yep.
The Mark III Supra that we had. That's the topic we can.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one soon. But no, I forgot that the EVO VIII had so much custom stuff. So that he was gonna have to make, kit. Or like anybody working on the car is gonna have to custom make everything.
Yeah, and it was I can't remember if we molded the kit or not. No, I think it's bolt on. Or is it riveted, or did Jose mold it? I think Jose molded it.
I think he molded it.
I don't even know. But there's it's like the Veris kit, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot, and it's one of those things where it's like, now I kind of wish I had the car back here, because I could just sit there and tinker with it and stuff, but it was just missing so many OE things, and it was definitely just like looking at the car always overwhelmed me.
Yeah. Because
especially with all-wheel drive stuff, and it's just like there's so many working parts in the engine bay stuff. But yeah, so at the time I had the EVO III, I had the Mark III Supra, I had the Mark IV Supra, I had the R33. I was still trying to do some Civic stuff. I had my 350Z, which was pissing me off to no end. I had the R35. I had we had a lot of stuff. You
had a lot of stuff, and like you said, there was so much that car needed that you just couldn't dedicate time to, couldn't find somebody that could dedicate time to.
Ultimately, like, I knew the price tag of everything.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't know if I can afford to just like sit there, and I kind of got myself into a pit.
Yeah.
Because like, especially with, it's kind of a double-edged sword when you get sponsored stuff like this. Like MA sends me, it's like a $15,000-$20,000 motor, if not more. It's like, well, in order for that $15,000-$20,000 motor to do what it's supposed to do, I got to spend another 15, 20, 30 grand on parts to make it good. So even the turbo, like, you have to have a turbo that's good enough for that. You have to have axles that are gonna let the car do its thing. You have to have a really nice clutch. Transmission, I'm just gonna see what happens with that transmission, but like, a lot of parts.
Yeah.
A lot of moving parts. And so I kind of just put it on the back burner, and then I guess does anything stick out to you like while the car was here?
Well, I feel bad.
I don't want to skip too much, but I really that whole car's a blur for me.
I was going to say, I don't remember much about it because I feel bad, but like nothing really happened with it.
Yeah, no. I just we got it painted. It's been away or neglected. It was selected all the time.
When we got it painted because we were waiting on parts, or we're waiting on people to show up to fix stuff or weld stuff, and so we're like, hey, we need a video, so let's to paint. You know, people are wanting it, so
it was a weird car. I mean, it was one of those weird times because like I was still just doing every single thing that I could for content.
Yeah.
Nothing could be done unless it was filmable. It was hard because I had big aspirations for the car, but I didn't have the tools to execute what I needed to get done.
Well, and honestly,
I did like all the rust
like
repair on it, like I sandblasted the bottom of it, like all that kind of stuff, sealed up everything, like made the car clean, made the car nice, but then it was like it still just needed so much stuff.
Yeah. And I guess I hope this comes off in a good way. But that's one of the things I admire about you and like all of your builds is you have all these great plans, and like I hear you talk about everything you want to do and like this is the goal and this is the plan, and I feel bad that honestly so many people have let you down. In a way, because you had really cool plans with a lot of different cars
and that's just kind of what happens. But I mean, it always comes back to you in the really
delegating and
it's who you're
leadership.
Using to delegate. And it's so, I always like, I will always blame people, in the best way possible. But at the same time, it's like, still my fault I was using them. I could have done better. How could I have been better, this and that? And a lot of people just don't think about that.
Yeah.
But I definitely do. And so I don't, if I ever put the blame on anybody or towards anybody, it's just as much my fault as it is theirs.
Yeah.
But that car was just so interesting. And I tried for a while to see who could help me with it because I wanted the car to get finished. And I wanted to send the car up to MA Performance, and they just didn't. It was like, it had been so long since they had like budgeted to help with the car that they actually had just
I think
they allocated the budget to someone else because they didn't know if I was going to do it. So they didn't have any more budget for me. And so it was just weird. So the car put me in an odd spot. So MA, they wanted to build the car, they wanted to tune the car, whatever, or all that kind of stuff. Just couldn't happen because I took too long, if you will. And then so it's like, all right, well, what do I do?
Yeah.
I hadn't had an all-wheel drive, or I hadn't had a relationship with all-wheel drive tuning yet. And so I was like, well, and they don't really do Evos. So that was kind of out of the picture. There's Evo Dynamics, but they're really good. They're very good, but they're
they did great on the
really
Evo
expensive. The labor's expensive. Yeah, I love the guys at Evo D. I think they're awesome. They build really cool cars.
And I think we had talked a few times about sending it up there, but we just couldn't get schedules lined up.
Yeah,
or something like
and
that.
then IPS, who had Crispy's cars for a long time, had reached out to me, and he was just super ambitious about it. And he's like, you know what? We'll finish this car for you. I don't know if you guys remember me dropping off the car. This is right after I'd got the BS Fab manifold. I got the turbo mounted up, all that kind of stuff. So it was really cool.
Which actually, wasn't that the car that somebody kept telling you that they were sending you a manifold for like 6 months?
Yes.
That was that car.
So that was another thing.
I forgot about that.
There's so much with this car. Okay, so that's another thing. Before the BS Fab thing, there was a guy that was literally like, he would send me CAD designs. Like, he would send me emails of the CAD files, and he's like,
the weirdest
he's like, no, don't get another manifold. I'm making it for you. He's
and
like,
then he would be silent for a month.
Radio silent, and it's like, oh, I broke my wrist, or like I broke my toe.
Yes.
It's like, dude, you're on CAD, man. Like, okay, it's like whatever. Or just be honest. One of my pet peeves, whether you're a business owner or not, is the lack of humility to just be honest with people.
Yeah.
Just be honest. If you can't do something, and maybe this is just me, but if I can't do something, I'm just going to walk up to you, look at you in the eye, and say,
be like,
I can't do this.
Why? Yeah, that goes so far, because it's like, I don't want to overpromise something.
I forgot about the freaking manifold. God,
yeah.
Dude, that was
and
so much on that car was delayed just because I was led on by people like that constantly.
Yeah. Well, and that just shows you like
wild.
how excited people were about that car, and how like they're like, I want to be part of this build.
Blows my mind. My mind is blown right now.
But yeah, the guy was like, I got in a car wreck and like broke his hand, and
I'm never gonna be like, oh no, you're lying about that. Like, I get it, but it's like, how many times can you just?
But even after
your
like
mother's,
4
dad's,
months
brothers,
of that,
something die and this and that. And it's like just excuse after excuse. It's like nobody's life is that. I could tell everybody. I could make up excuses for stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But it's like,
no,
at some
I
point you just got to
right.
get the work done that you promised somebody.
Yeah, I think there's merit. And
I forgot about that.
You said this, I don't know, on your main channel, or maybe it was on one of the first podcasts, but it's like, okay, just be honest. Like, if you can do it, do it. If you can't do it, don't do it. Don't say that you can when you can't.
Yeah, it's a weird dichotomy with business owners in particular, though, because you want to be ambitious and take on these projects to grow.
Yeah, 100%.
But also, I'm going to use IPS. Nothing wrong with him, but like him as an example, as we'll talk about here in a second, he took on way too much, and obviously, clearly, my car's not been touched for a year. I dropped it off almost exactly a year ago.
I was like, or has it been more?
No, it was after TX2K.
Okay.
I love it. He's a great person. Super nice guy. So this, again, is nothing at his expense, but I just want to tell the truth with everything that's going on. So he hit me up, and he really wanted to build the car, finish the car for me. And I was like, that's great, because I was just getting into drifting. I had a busy schedule. I had to go to the LZ World Tour and wanted to do this. I was like, listen,
I was pregnant.
She was pregnant, and I was like, I have very finite amount of time. I don't really have anybody working for me right now. So I do need help. So if you want to finish the car for me, that's fantastic. He was about to hire a fabricator. He was really trying to grow.
He just moved shops.
He had just gotten a bigger shop. He's trying to grow. And I was like, you know what? This is great. I'd love to help you out. You help me. I help you. You know, scratch my back, scratch yours. That's how it's going to work. So I dropped it off. He was super enthusiastic about it. He seemed to be kind of on top of some stuff at first. And then it was like 2 months radio silence. And I finally just like, it was actually almost 2 months. I finally got, I think, my first call from him as I was driving up to the World Tour.
Yeah, that
and he's
sounds
like,
right.
he's like, hey, we really need to get this car rolling. I was like, yeah, I think
Have
so.
you not
I
been?
think so too. I was like, well, I think so too. And so he's like, all right, well, we need to get this list going and this and that. And I was like, dude, just let me know. Like, give me a list. I'll figure it out. I'll send it to my guys at MAP. We'll get it going.
Yeah.
I think it was like radio silence. I'm going to paraphrase and not be probably completely accurate here because there was a lot of like miscommunication, but it's probably a couple more months. He hired another guy who's working the main office. Front office.
I was like, I know nothing about this.
Instagram admin stuff. And he started talking to me. He's like, hey, we need to get this list. I'm like, yeah, we need to get this list. So we finally get it. I think when did I buy the IS? August? July?
Yeah, I think it was around your birthday.
Oh, I'm going to say August.
Was it before or after Luke was here? Do you remember?
Before.
Okay. So
It was
August.
before, so it was August. But I'm telling you, the on my drive down to go pick up that car, I finally got them to get me the list. So that's March, April, May, June, July, August. 5 months later.
Yeah.
Just to get the list of fabrication parts.
Yeah.
Just the piping to make all the intercooler and stuff work. And I was like, oh my gosh. So anyways, called up MAP. None of that was sponsored, which was kind of crappy. But it was like, all right, cool. I'll drop $3, $4, $5 on everything that I need.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So that this can get done. And so I did. It all got shipped to there, and all the parts sat.
And are still sitting.
Sat, and they are still sitting. So it's been a really weird predicament, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say anything. Ivan's a great person. He really is a super nice guy.
Super kind.
But, I don't think that always translates well to business in some instances. But, I mean, I know he does, he's tuning and stuff like that all the time. But it's like, yeah, my car's been literally sitting for a year. And so recently, this past year, I guess 2 years ago, I bought my old Subaru back. And so I've definitely mended my relationship with all-wheel drive tuning and talked to Keith and Mary. I'm friends with them again. So I talk to them quite often. And Mary finds out recently, she's like, I didn't know you had this Evo that's like so capable. And I was like, what's going on? And she did know about it. She knew Ivan, like everybody knows everybody. All the tuners know each other. So like they knew each other. But, and she was like, she knew, I told her, I was transparent with her. I was like, listen, I brought it there so it could get finished because I just wanted the car to be done and to drive it. And it has not done anything. And she's like, okay. Anyways, so she calls and she figures out she's like, listen, we want to help you guys out. We don't really do Evo stuff, but if it works out, if it's in the cards, we'd like to finish it for you. And I was like, that's amazing because I know that they'll do it.
Yeah.
They're a super reputable shop. I mean, Keith and Mary are killing it. They're still around. I mean, if you're still around after this long and you're like, even my car's a testament.
Yeah.
Like my car's still kicking from a build they did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Low horsepower, of course, but like it's usually not the case for even built motors for Subarus. So anyways, they were like, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll have to trailer it. So she gets a hold of somebody who used to work there, and he's like, oh, yeah, I don't work there anymore, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to give too much detail here because Mary is amazing. She was like, I just want to confirm that all his parts are still there because I sent her the list of all the stuff I
Which
had.
again, it was like
She's
four,
like, she read down a list.
$4,000.
She's like, it's more than that. But yeah, she was like, I want to make sure this is here. This is here. This is here. This all has to be in the car. And she was like, yep, it's still there. So I don't know that. Allegedly it is there, but he's got a couple guys working for him at the moment that are like super nice, and he's got some different priorities I think going on. So again, not to say anything bad. He's a great guy, and I'm sure that a lot of the stuff that's left the shop has been good. But yeah, my car's just not been touched. And so the idea is now to go get the car, get a winch installed in my trailer, go get the car, bring it to all-wheel drive, and have them do some stuff not only to the Evo but also my STI as well. My car's just been sitting there for a while because I'm like, you know what? You guys have fun with it. They don't really care if my car's there, and then that's fine with me because I don't really care if my car's there either because I know it's in good hands. But yeah, the Evo has been a massive, not even a headache. What do you describe? How in the world do you describe what's been going on with that damn thing, man?
The first word that came to my mind was let down, but
It's been a letdown for a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
not even for me, but a lot. I feel like it's been a big source of like people's upsettedness at me.
well, again, that literally is the only car for years that people have asked about on the
Yeah.
channel
Yeah,
consistently.
and that's the one reason why I haven't just like given up on it and sold it, because at some point I gotta finish it.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point it's like, I mean, all of my eggs are in the drifting basket at the moment, so it's like I don't have necessarily the budget. Now the thing is, I think all the parts that I need for the car have been purchased. So in
that's
reality,
my understanding.
it might take another 1,000 or two tops to get the car like 100% driving on the road. But I mean,
The
it's
miscellaneous
got
stuff.
engines ready. I mean, it's like plumbing, and then like, you know, maybe some clutch like lines, brake lines, that sort of thing, like OE parts.
Yeah.
Like it's not, or just some fabrication. You know, it's like it's really going to be paying somebody to fab it up, get it ready, and then that's it. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about it. I know that it'll be in good hands with Keith and Mary, and it's honestly kind of cool how everything worked out because just the timing of it was
Where
great.
did we run into them? Was it Clean Culture?
This is the Clean Culture meet, yeah. We
Yeah.
talked to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so worried. I was like, man, I hope they don't hate me because
I
I
know.
was such a naive 19-year-old, 20-year-old at the time. So
Yeah.
but no, they've been super
Full circle.
cool. They've been
So
super
nice.
cool. I do love Keith and Mary. I can't say it enough. But yeah, the goal now is the idea now is to bring the Evo from where it's at to Flower Mountain to all-wheel drive tuning. And
Hopefully, like in the next
which
month.
is crazy because like that it just goes full circle. Like it's great. Like that's who built my first all-wheel drive car, and
Yeah.
you know, they'll maybe build this one. So I still don't really know all the plans about it, but you know, the car's super overbuilt, very capable. I think it'll just be a really fun street car. It's definitely going to be the fastest car I've ever owned, ever driven.
Well, and, like,
honestly, I'm glad that I've gotten so much driving experience, though. I mean,
You handle it.
Yeah, like I'll be able to handle it no problem now. But it's like,
Yeah.
you know, between the Civic itself, like if you can handle that car,
Yeah,
you can handle
that
a lot
thing
of
is
cars.
rowdy.
But also drifting just teaches you so much about how to drive a car.
Yeah.
So much. So I think I'll be more than prepared for it, and I think it'll just be. I think it'll be. It's made the length, the duration of the waiting period is, I think, going to make it much sweeter once it finally is.
Yeah. So do you think like maybe, to put you on the spot, maybe in the next month we'll have it transferred over?
Yeah, all I got to do is put a freaking winch on it.
Yeah.
Even Dustin Monroe, the guy I bought the car from, he's like, "I'll take a day off. I'll go get it for you."
Oh, sweet. Tomorrow. We're going to go get it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, and like I feel bad because like we have a shirt based on it, and you know it was
it was a
specking
big-
out all the like 1,200 horsepower and Evan Shanks wheels.
It was
and,
it was a big staple for a while, and like it sucks because like I really wanted it to work, but it was just there's a line that you cross with cars when it's like easy to get running again, and no longer even close to easy
Full
to get
gut.
running again.
Yeah.
And so I had crossed that line. If I kept everything OE and stopped, if I just didn't overcomplicate all of it, if I didn't want 1,200 horsepower,
Yeah.
it'd be fine. But, I had to flex, I suppose, and make sure that happened. But, yeah.
Live and you learn.
You do live and you learn. And that is a car that I like because of that reason. That car has been with us through a lot, and it has taught me a lot of lessons about a lot of people. And so
Yes.
It's crazy. It's weird. These inanimate objects can hold so much, so many stories, so much value to you, even if it's just a hunk of metal.
Yeah.
So, I learned a lot about the car, learned how to do stuff, man, but I've just also, I think it's time to get it just running.
When I feel like that's one, and I have a question that you don't know I'm going to ask you, but I feel like that's one that we're probably going to keep for a long time because of everything that's gone into it.
If I can afford it.
What do you mean?
That thing breaks.
Oh, if it breaks.
Ooh.
Yeah. But no, like, what in your current collection are your forever cars that you don't see yourself getting rid of? If you want to answer that.
It's hard to say.
Because I think that's a cool channel.
Yeah, no, you know the way that I view cars, though. It's like they're just things.
Yeah, no, I get that. But like, we've talked about like channel staples.
Yeah, no, I know. Forever car's tough.
Okay, not forever car then, but like for the next 5 years, let's say. Evan Shanks
Definitely
car
I would
garage.
say definitely both of my wagons for sure, because those are the first two cars that I've ever like really gone full tilt in building, but they're also like, I'm the wagon guy. I love wagons.
Z.
The Z,
for
there's
a bit.
Unless somebody comes with a 6-digit check my way, that Z's sticking around for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no reason to get rid of
Wagon,
that.
Z, wagon.
Both wagons for sure, and then like I don't feel like
I really feel like we're kind of to the point that
we'll see what happens with the 240. The 240 holds a lot of value, but it's just
I feel like we're kind of at the point of you're keeping all of your staple cars.
That was kind of the thing. I've consolidated a lot. I still probably will sell. I'm going to sell my 34. I don't know if I should. I
would say that.
But I'm still considering selling the 33 just because I just don't. Even if I did build it the way I wanted to, it's too mint and it's too nice, and I don't feel like driving it. Plus, I just have so many other cool projects, and the money I could get for that car, it's just not worth. The Miata that Jaron and I built, don't want to get rid of that. Honestly, also because like I get rid of a ton of memories for what, $7,000.
Yeah,
it's like,
you wouldn't get.
That's not worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you talked about the Civics are ish on sale. In your last video, you said if somebody wanted them,
if somebody
you'd sell
wanted
them.
my V6 car, like my V6 Civic, I'd sell it to them. It's a fun thing at the moment. Like I love having a fast car lying around, but it's like my dream was never to have a tin can with a big motor in it,
Because like you said, you love drag racing.
and it's fun, but it's also just like I'd much rather spend a day at a drift course or even a HPD, something like that. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that answers for the most part. There's a lot of details that I don't know if we can even I don't know if I can even remember about the.
We'd have to talk, that's literally all I remember.
Hours on the Evo, but there's so much about it that is just unique. It's
so much that happened that also didn't happen. That it's just.
I think you guys learned all the info that you needed to at this moment. So we'll recap a little bit once we go and get it, and I'll make a little video about picking it up, talk to Keith and Mary about the car when we drop it off, and I think it'll be fun. I'd like to get that done sooner than later, but I do have one or two things on my plate to absolutely get taken care of beforehand. So
yeah, you have a few deadlines coming up. But yeah, we'll see EVO VIII returns again. Title.
Kind of, and we'll see. Who knows how long it's going to take Keith and Mary to figure that out.
Like you said, there's a lot to do to that car.
There's still a lot to do, and we'll go over that. But I think that's going to be it for this one. I wanted to kind of keep this one short because Daddy's a little eepy, and I'm a little tired. But
it's 8:24.
That's weird because I'm usually rocking and rolling till like midnight.
What time did you wake? Because it was Saturday, so I wanted to make sure you've had a long few weeks. So I made sure you got to sleep in. But what time did you?
Dude, I don't ever sleep in anymore. But for some reason, she just let me today. These damn.
What in your mouth?
What was it, 10:30 or something? Like it was.
Yeah, I came in
terrible.
at like 10:45.
But yeah,
no, because you've had a long. Come on, like you needed sleep, and I knew that.
Yeah.
But
I always feel guilty no matter what. I hate sleeping in. Anyways,
not the point.
I think that's it. There are a few more topics that we obviously want to talk about. There are some topics that we want to talk about that we can't necessarily yet as well. But if you have any recommendations, we would love to hear them because just fireside chats with us. You know, it's like it is what it is. We just want to sit here and shoot the bull. So
yeah, or if there's. I don't know if we can even have guests, but if somebody's in town, we'll get them in.
I need to do better about inviting people to a podcast, to speak. But I joined Circle of Drift for a podcast. That's why we didn't have one last week as well.
And Gabby, I had to pick up Gabby because Mom was sick, so we didn't have childcare.
There was some sickness going around. I was doing some things. It's been a busy thing. Have some kids. You think you're busy? Have kids.
Then you'll be stuck at home on a Saturday night at 8:30 doing a podcast.
It's great though. Irreplaceable. Oh no, if she's snorting, it's really not funny if she's snorting.
On that note, I'm just kidding.
I'm not even gonna pick that up.
Litterer.
I'm gonna let the EPA come get it themselves. Well, we love you all, and if you have any recommendations, feel free to comment, I guess, on the ShanksCast page. If you're not subscribed to the podcast on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button and like the video for us. And are we on Apple yet?
I looked today, still no. So I need to. If anybody knows anything about Apple Podcasts, DM me or email me.
If you, I don't know. Who really listens?
I've been told that they want Apple.
So much better.
No, they want Apple, Amazon Podcasts. Or Amazon Music
I feel like,
or something.
Why not just use Spotify,
Yeah, I don't know.
Am I just old school?
Maybe. We are going to turn 30 this year.
They don't need to know that. That's
sensitive information.
You don't need to know that. I'm still 22, boys.
No, but I think I kind of want to tease in the future, long-term future. We'll at one point dig into shop lawsuit details. When we can, according to our lawyer.
Drama with our neighbor.
The drama and almost lawsuit with our neighbor. And I tried to buy a Supra from him. Fun story with that one.
Yeah, there's some good stuff.
We've got some good stuff.
But we're waiting. So anyways, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll see you guys next week.
You never know when those stories will pop up, so keep your eye out. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.